Assalamualaikum dan salam sejahtera kepada semua yang nonton. Okay, kita punya live hari ini. So selamat datang buat kali pertama lah dalam semester 2 ini kita akan adakan siri ulang kaji kita. Okay. Bersama-sama kita hari ini Madam Lim, Hwee, Cheng dan juga Miss Jade kita. Okay. So topik yang kita akan mulakan dalam slot pertama kita adalah matematik. Jadi kod kursus SM025. Okey, dan topik kita, tajuk kita pada hari ini adalah berkenaan dengan last minute tips and tricks for mathematics SM025 in PSPM 2 2020 and 2021. Okey, so jadi saya tak nak membuang masa lah, kita semua ramai yang tak sabar untuk kita nak mulakan sesi ulang kaji kita. Jadi saya akan jemputlah Madam Lim untuk mulakan. Jadi saya akan undur dirilah bersama dengan Miss Jade. Okay. Jadi kita akan mulakan. Okay. Selamat belajarlah.
Okay, hello everyone in the YouTube channel. So great to see you again. So I'm Madam Lim Jing from College Matriculasi Johor. Today I'm going to share some tips and tricks for Mathematics SM025 in PSPM 2 2020 and 2021. Okay, so basically in these presentations, I'm going to share contents on some PSPM 2 exam topics and the exam format plus the part notes for the topics that will come out in the PSPM. Okay, I will give you the chapter summary for 6 chapters that include in the PSPM 2. Okay, so what topics will come out in PSPM 2? Okay, actually, in PSPM 2, you're going to sit for the exam for next week. So we only include 6 chapters. So they are the topic 3, numerical method. Okay, so we estimate there will be have 6% questions in the PSPM 2, and we follow by the topic 4, conics is include 17%, and then topics of vector 14%, and topic chapter 8 probability 6%, and the topics 9 lambda variables 32%, and finally is the topic 10 special probability distribution. Okay, so if we look at here, so basically there are 4 main chapters. Okay, 4 main chapters that you're going to come out in the exam is the conics, vectors, lambda variables, and special distributions. Okay, so please make sure that you study hard for these 4 topics. So if you can conquer all these 4 topics, so for sure, okay, you get A. It's not a big problem for you. Okay, what kind of format exam will come out? Okay, I will give you roughly a brief idea. So during the exam, okay, we are going to have 2 parts in one paper. So we are going to have 2 parts, part A and part B. Okay, so for part A, so we have 25%. So we have 3 questions based on the topic 8, 9, and 10. So this is a roughly estimation. The percentage of the topic will come out 6%, 11%, and 8% here. For the part B, we are going to include another 5 chapter. That is chapter 3, 6%, chapter 4, 17%, chapter 5, 14%, chapter 9, 21%, and chapter 10, 17%. Okay, class, if you see here, okay, we notice that, okay, these 3 chapters, random variable, special distributions, and these play an important role. So only these 2 chapters over covers around 40-something% in your exam. Okay, plus by the conics and the vectors. So these questions, okay, these 4 chapters play an important role, okay, in your PSPM after this. Okay. Okay, how do you feel today? Okay, so can anyone? Okay, if you feel angry, if you feel happy, excited, okay, can you please kindly type your feeling today in your live chat? Okay, I want to see. Okay, how do you feel today? Are you excited for the exam? Are you happy for the exam? Are you worried for the exam? Okay, anyone want to give a response? Ada? Dalam is what? Happy, angry. Oh, somebody is angry, worry. Okay. Ada lagi tak feeling lain? Oh, worry, afraid, tired. Yeah, some of you are very tired because of preparing the exam. Happy, worry for the exam. Okay. Okay, a lot of feeling that you have sleepy, some worry. Okay, good. So this is the, is the normal feeling that you will feel. Okay, however is, okay, success doesn't come to you, so you go to it. Okay, if you want to have success, of course, if you have the happy feeling, tired feeling, what else? Sleepy feeling, worry feeling is good because you work for it. So only you have feeling. If you don't have any feeling, that means that you get nothing for the exam. So very good. So you have a feeling, at least you have a feeling. So that means somebody feels sad because maybe he or she doesn't prepare well. But don't worry, you still have 2 days to go, okay, to prepare. Okay? Okay, so you go to it. So you can go to it, okay? You go prepare. So no, for sure, success is in your hand. Okay, so don't stress. Okay? I just do your best. So I think that okay, you can get your success very soon and forget the rest. So the rest, whatever, then you just put aside hari raya ke whatever you put aside first. You just do the best first and don't be stressed. So for sure, okay, you can score a good marks in your exam. Okay, so let's go through. Okay, since some of you not yet prepare well, I just give you a summary notes on these 6 chapters. Okay, so for me, I'm going to concentrate on the chapter, it's 8, 9, 10, 2, 3, okay, sorry, 3, 4, 5 are going to more emphasize in details by Ms. Cheng after this. Okay, I'll just give you a spark note, roughly the summary. What have you done in your 6 chapters? Okay, so the very first topic will come out is the topic 3 as well. So numerical method, I think most of you already know in numerical method, we have the trapezoidal rule and the NewtonRaphson that you have to know. And you have to know how especially for the NewtonRaphson, you have to know how to determine the initial value, whether by graphical method or algebraic approach. And for the trapezoidal rule, you must take notes of the number of n. Okay, so number n is the number of stride or start interval, or you will get it by the ordinate -1. You will go into detail with Ms. Jet after this. Okay, so for the chapter 4, okay, before go chapter 4, this one is a tip, is that remember to change your calculator in radial mode whenever you evaluating the trigo functions. Okay, this one must take note. Okay, so for the chapter 4, so basically we have gone through 3 conic sections. Okay, one is the circle. Okay, you have to know the standard form and the general form of circles. And you have to know how to form the equation of tangent by using these formulas. And the length of tangent, normally we apply the Pythagorean theorem. Okay, then the second conic is the ellipse. We have the horizontal major axis ellipse and vertical major axis ellipse. Okay, then again, the standard form of the ellipse is this: x minus h square over a square plus y minus k square over b square equal to 1. And this is the general form. And finally, is the parabola. Okay, parabola, we have 2 kinds of parabola. One is the parabola with the symmetrical axis parallel to the x-axis. The other one is the parabola with the symmetrical axis parallel to the y-axis. So we have the open right, open left, open outward, open downward. Okay, you are going to go in detail with the mistake after this. Okay, so we have the 2 kinds of standard equations. So I hope that you can differentiate. Okay, for the open right and left, we have the standard equation of y minus k square, and with the open upward and open downwards, we have the standard equation for x minus h squared equal to 4p y minus k. Okay, so same thing with the topic vectors here. Okay, so basically you have some of the important keywords, things that you have to know. One is about the magnitude and what it means by unit vectors. And the basics operations, we have the additions, multiplications. So please make sure that you know what it means by the dot product and cross product. And for the parallel vectors, so we have the two tests that we can do is that if the two vectors are parallel, so we can say that U equal to the K vector V, or you may use the U cross V equal to 0 vectors. So for the perpendicular, so if two vectors are perpendicular, the dot product is 0. So this is a quite famous one. So that we use for the perpendicular vectors. Okay, for the parallel, we either use this or this. So both also can. And then we are going to go to the angle between the two line, angle between two vectors, angle between two planes, angle between the line and the plane, and angle between plane and plane. Okay, so of these you have to go through. Okay, then for this, for the applications part, so we are going to do for the area of the parallelogram or the area for the triangle. This one we are going to do the magnitude of the cross product for. And finally, so for the vectors applications part, so in the exam, definitely they will come up with the equation of the straight line or equations of the plane. Okay, so for equation of straight line, so you need the parameter of parallel vector and a fixed point, and you have to know how to convert into the vector equation, parametric equation, and Cartesian equations. And for the equations of plane, okay, so you need a normal vector and the fixed point. So you will see a different things that for line, you need a parallel vector. For plane, you need a normal vector. Okay, again, for the equations of plane, so you need what? You need to know how to convert or how to form the vector equation of plane and how to form the vector equations of plane. Okay, so this is basically the main thing. So in chapter 5. Okay, so all these 3 chapters going detail, so we are going to explain by after this. Okay, so now we come to the chapter 8. Just now we say that we estimate that for chapter 8, we have basically around 6% of the questions will come out. Okay, so I just make a summary on these chapters. For chapter 8, so you have to know, okay, what is meant by composite event. Okay, how to find the intersections and how to find the union. Okay, so for union, of course, you are going to have, sorry. Okay, so for union part, okay, so you have to know what is how to find the A union B. So normally we use this formula. A union B equivalent to PA plus PB minus with the A intersect with B. Okay, inilah ini punya intersection lah, A intersection. So this is the very common formulas that you use. Okay, second thing is that we do go through or come through about the mutually exclusive event. Okay, whenever we say that, okay, these events are mutually exclusive, so that means there is no intersection. So maksudnya dia macam ni. Okay, you have the event A and event B. There is no intersection. You see now, the intersection is 0. Okay, so for these cases, there will be have intersection. The other intersection. Okay, the event diagram is different shape. Okay, that is why for the union, A union B, you only have the PA plus PB only. Okay, this is the common test that we use to test whether these two events are mutually exclusive. So please take note if the question say, determine whether the A and B is mutually exclusive, you just determine whether they are 0. Okay, the third thing is that is the conditional event. Okay, so for the conditional event, so the formula is the probability of A given B. So A will be happen if the B happen. Okay, so this is the condition. Okay, so the condition event, so normally will come up with the word given that if something like this. So you must take note of this. The fourth one is the independent event. Okay, independent test normally we use is the A union B. If two events are independent, their intersections will be PA multiplied with PB. So you just have to determine, this is a quite common question. In the last part, they will ask, determine whether both events are independent. So normally we use this test. So what you need to do is that you just recognize what is the value of A intersect with B, and you do the calculation for PA multiplied with PB. You check whether they are the same. If they are the same, that means they are independent. If they are not the same, they are not independent. That is why we have other alternative. Okay, you may use this also. If A given B, just now we say that if A and B are independent, okay, so there we can multiply. So this one and this one we may omit it. That's why you will get a probability of PA, right? That means the probability of A given B equal to PA is also another test that is independent. We can use this also. Okay, we either use this or these methods also can. If they are dependent, so A will not depend on B. That means that the A given B is equivalent to PA. So this one also we may use to test for the independent event. Okay, then we will go through some formulas like I state out in here. So all these, the formula PA prime equal to 1 minus PA intersect B is the PA minus A times B, and so on. All these, actually you can easily recognize or get from the Venn diagram. Okay, so basically we have four methods. Okay, you have to use to solve the probability. One is Venn diagram. Okay, two is the table. Three is the tree diagram. Fourth one is the permutation and the combination. Okay, in my opinion, so because it only have 6%. So whether either they will come out the question based on Venn diagram or something in the tree diagram or table, something like this, because you only have left 6%. Okay, so you come out with the Venn diagram. Okay, for this type of question. Okay, so we may easily, okay, just draw the Venn diagram and do the shaded. So this is the region A. And this is the region B. Okay, kalau kita cakap complement of A, so if I draw the Venn diagram, so maksudnya selain daripada A, so all the shaded region. So this is the A prime, okay, B prime, and A union B and A intersect B. Okay, so any type of question, so like the determine is find the formulas. This one I show in front here. You may easily get the answers by using the Venn diagram, especially something like this. If you want to find the A prime intersect with B, so A prime intersect with B, you will get this, right? Okay, that is why if the question asks you to find the PB, so you may easily say that the PB is equivalent to A prime intersect with B plus the PA intersect with B. So you can easily form your formula by using the Venn diagram. Okay, so I just suggest to you, okay, sometimes you may use this to form the formulas. Okay, this one is the A union B prime. So if say A union B prime, you can easily say, oh, if I want to find this, I may use 1 minus probability of A union B. So from the diagram, then you will know what formulas that you can form. Then you just simply substitute into the, the questions given with the corresponding given probability. Okay, so this is what will come up in the question chapter 8. Okay, for your information, just now we say that chapter 8 will come out in the part A only. Okay, part A, the very first question. So it's the chapter 8. Okay, then we go to another questions on topic 9, lambda variables. Okay, lambda variable, if you notice that just now we say that around 32% will come out in these questions. So basically, we have two lambda variable. One is discrete lambda variable, the other one is continuous lambda variables. Okay, for discrete, we have the probability distribution function. For continuous, we have the density function. Okay, this is the normal notations that we use. Okay, so for your information, normally the question will ask you to convert. either from the PDF to the cumulative. So for the discrete, we just add. Okay, and they will ask you from the cumulative, if they give you the cumulative function, they will ask you to determine the PDF, so you just need to subtract, tolak. Okay, and for the continuous pula, kalau they ask you to do PDF to cumulative, so you have to do the integration. Okay, integrate according to the corresponding limits. Okay, then for the cumulative to density, you need to differentiate. Okay, I hope that when you read the questions, you have to recognize the functions that they give you is PDF or CDF. And the question that they give you either is discrete or continuous. Please read the questions carefully. Okay, normally the question will be stated. Okay, so for discrete and continuous, beside that, okay, they will ask you to, normally they will ask you to determine, whether it's a discrete or continuous. The first thing is that normal, if you want to determine or verify whether the lambda variable is discrete, the first thing that normally the probability that we use is this. Their total probability is equivalent to 1. Okay. Okay, and for discrete, if you want to find the expected value, so please make sure that you multiply the lambda variable with its corresponding PDF. And you want to find the expected of x squared, also you have to multiply the x squared of the lambda variable with its corresponding PDF, and you add it. Ini maksudnya total, you summation. Okay. And then you will ask you to find the variance. Okay, normally variance we are going to use the expected of x squared minus the mean square. Okay, and the sigma is the square root of variance, and the median Fn equal to 0.5, separuh, half. Okay, so same thing with the continuous. For continuous, we have to do for the total probability. Okay, pagi ini adalah total probability for the continuous. So please make sure that you are going to do the integration. Okay, same thing if you want to find the expected and mean square ini. So you multiply first. Mesti multiply first, only integrate. So please take note. You must multiply first and then only you integrate. Okay, same thing for you to find the gradient, variance, and so on. They are going to use the same formula. Okay, they are going to use the same formula. Okay, so in chapter 9 ini, okay, basically students always confused. Okay, in these 5 parts. So let me show you. The first part, when doing the graph sketching. Okay, we have the discrete part and the continuous part. Okay, so this is the discrete. Okay, if you ask you to do the graph sketching for the discrete of PDF, dia punya graph macam coconut tree. Berdiri tegak. Macam this. This is the graph of the PDF. So this one depend on the PDF there. PDF there. What value? Depend lah. Kalau 1/3 semua sama tinggi. Kalau different, there we have the different height of the diagram. Okay, this is the graph for the PDF. Kalau cumulative, cumulative pula something like this. Okay, if you ask you to do the cumulative, dia adalah something like the staircase. Okay, 0 less than 1, 2, and so on. 1, 2, 2 not included, 2, 2. Okay, included part is here. Okay, boleh? So we will do in this way. Okay, kalau density function, if you want to sketch the graph, so you just sketch the piecewise function according to the given range. So ini adalah graph ini, you just sketch. And finally, for the cumulative part, yang ini, cumulative ini, 0, yang ini, so you just do the graph sketching normally lah, like this. Yang ini, 0 to 1 adalah x square over 2, 2x minus x square over 2, ini adalah 1. Okay, this is the graph. So, please differentiate it. Okay, you will notice that kalau discrete, dia macam coconut tree, macam tangga. Kalau for continuous, dia graph macam biasa, you lukis, dan ini adalah macam you punya objek. Okay, last sekali, dia mesti 1. Okay, this is the graph. Okay, please make sure that you go back and try. The secondly is the probability part. Okay, the probability ini. Okay, so for this probability, students always confused. So please make sure that you read the questions carefully. If you want to read from the cumulative PDF, so you nak cari probability greater than 2, less than 4, dia adalah just ambil from the value of PDF table dia F equal to 3. Kalau you use the cumulative, so you guna F3 minus with the F2. This is the difference. Okay, kalau for this 2 less than 4, so included is 2 and 3, you just add. If you use the PDF. So if you use the cumulative, so you have to do the subtract. Okay, because we know that the Fx is the probability S is less or equal than X. So dia mula dari akhir, dia kurang sama. That's why dia guna F3 minus the F1. Kalau greater than 2, less than 4, okay, you have the 3 and 4. Okay, you may snap this. Then later that you can go back and go through. And for the continuous, they are a bit different. No matter they included ke tak included, open or close, half open, they always 2 to 4. Because for continuous, the equal sign doesn't mean anything. There is no equal value. That's why for 2 to 4 until 2 equivalent, yang besar equal or not, so they always use the integrations of 2 to 4. So kalau you nak guna cumulative, you akan guna F4 minus F2. This is valid when it is in continuous. Okay, clear? Boleh? Dia adalah in continuous. Okay, so kalau for greater, okay, kalau greater than 2, so you boleh guna 1 minus 0 minus 1 minus 2. Kalau you guna cumulative, you akan guna 1 minus F2 lah, and so on. So you can, is not this copy, then go back that you can go through. Okay, so this is the probability. So go back, you have to read questions carefully. Either you decide yourself, you want to use the cumulative or you want to use the PDF to calculate the probability. The method is different. Okay, the third thing is that the median. Okay, for median, if you use the PDF, you have to check one by one. You mula dengan X1, 1/3, not yet 1/2. So you add on. Okay, you akan dapati, okay, when I plus X2, I already achieve 1/2. That's why the median is 2. Okay, kalau you guna cumulative, you just read from the cumulative. So F1, 1/3, not yet. Okay, kalau F2 is 2/3, you baca direct kalau you have the cumulative. So that's why you have the median equal to 2. Same thing with if you do the density function, you kena test lah, you kena buat 0 to 1, 1 to n only 0.5, then you will get the n. Kalau you guna cumulative, so you kena baca daripada sini, bila kosong dia kosong, bila 1, 1. Okay, you can read from here. Okay, okay, so you got bila 1 dia belum lagi 2 baru, so m square equal to 4, maksudnya you punya median in between here. So baru you cari. So kalau cumulative, you ambil terus. Kalau you do the density, you kena integrate. You need to integrate. Boleh? Okay, the third thing is that the expected value, I want to emphasize here is that please make sure that you multiply and the corresponding PDF only you add. Sama ceritanya kalau continuous, so make sure that you multiply with the density function first. Multiply with the density function. Nampak ke? Class? You multiply first, only you integrate. Okay? Then only you will get the answer. So this is the main things that you have to know. And finally is the mode. Okay, kalau mode for the discrete, okay, for the discrete, normally we will look at the highest probability. Okay, look at this. Kalau for discrete, this case, so we know that ini adalah highest. So kalau highest, maksudnya dia punya probability is the highest. So that means that occurs most often. So maka yang ini is the mode. Okay, kalau discrete is easy. You just read from the table. Okay, kalau continuous, kalau continuous pula, Okay, kalau continuous, you kena graph sketching or you do the derivative function, differentiate pun boleh lah. Okay, so if you do the graph, you will see that, this is the highest point. So that means the point here is 1. So the mode ini adalah dia punya mode. Paling tinggi, titik paling tinggi. Okay, the highest y. Okay, maksudnya the highest fx. So that one is the mode. Okay, this is the 5 main things. Okay, 5 main things that will come out in the exam. Okay, so plus the, is the property. I think that one is not so, is the easy thing for you. Okay, then the next chapter 10. Okay, for chapter 10, including, around 25%. Okay, so for this chapter, again, so we have basically discrete and continuous distribution. We have the binomial and we have the Poisson. Okay, for the continuous, we have the normal distributions. Okay, so this one is that we must do the and final part is the approximation. Okay, maksudnya kita ada satu soalan yang kita perlu guna approximation binomial to normal. Okay, dia ada condition dia when your n is greater than 50. So we encourage you to do the approximation. Okay, so for these chapters, so we know that for binomial, we have two main important parameters. One is the number of trial, the other one is the probability of success in each trial. Okay, so to read or to calculate the probability for binomial, we have two ways. Kita ada dua cara. One is you use function formula to calculate. The other one is read from the binomial table, but there is a limitation for the binomial table. We only can read from the table for the n3 until 50 only, and for the p 0.01 until 0.5, they are specific value. So not every value of p is included in the table. So if not included, you have to do the formula to calculate. Okay, since the probability in your table is the x is larger or equal to r. So, dia adalah besar, nampak? Besar sama accumulate. So, total. So, that's why to evaluate. So, normally we have to use this kind of formula. So, if you want to evaluate x equal to r, so saya kena guna besar r minus the besar equal to r plus 1 and so on. Less or equal than r, saya kena guna 1 minus r plus 1. Less than r pula saya akan guna d. So, after this, I will teach you a way how I'm going to easily to remember of this formula. And the mean, variance, the formula, mean is MP, variance is MPQ, and the sigma is the square root of MPQ. And for the Poisson, so be careful on the Poisson. So Poisson always have the time, space, and volume different whenever in the exam. So please make sure that you read the questions carefully. They write to give you a trick. They normally change the time frame or change the space. So that means that you have to change, okay, to the value of lambda. So please make sure dia adalah relate to the value of lambda. Okay, lambda will be changed when the time or the space is changing. Okay, so same thing for the Poisson distributions. We may calculate from the formula or you may read from the table. And the limitations for the table is that the lambda included only 0.1 until 30 only. Okay, so for the value of mean, dia adalah mu lambda. Variance square also lambda. So this one you must take, be careful lah. So mean and the variance for the Poisson distributions are the same. And the sigma will be the square root of lambda. Okay, just now I mentioned that how we're going to remember this. Okay, I suggest to my students, so they will give you the gigi. Semua orang ada gigi kan? Gigi adalah sebatang-sebatang. So yeah, it's the same concept with the discrete. Okay, so for example, okay, so if you hardly to remember, so you see that I'm going to find the x equal to r. So they suggested that you use the probability greater or equal than r, subtract with the probability r plus 1. So bila you tolak, that's why you will get the gigi r only. Okay, so very easy. So for the second one, you want to find the value less or equal than R. So you use the 1 minus probability of X greater or equal than R plus 1. So this is the 1 and this is the 1 R plus 1. So you subtract, you minus. So yang tinggal only this. Okay, they will easily help you to form the formula because you're going to read the table. Your table is the value of equal, greater or equal. You only can read this from the table. Kalau less than, kita tak ada less than. So kita kena tukar. Okay, less than R. So I use 1 subtract with the greater than R. So R subtract with this. So I will have the degree R minus 1. So less than R. So this is how. So we read this from the table based on the value of N or P or based on the value of lambda that you will get. Okay. So I will give you some examples. Okay. So let's say, okay, I want to find probability of this. Okay. How I'm going to do is that I'm going to include, let's say, 4, 5, 6, 13, 14. Tak cukup. Wait. Because I'm going to include. So you have to make sure that you write 14, 15. Okay, this is in between. So I'm going to include 5, 6 until 14. So this is the tip that I want. Okay, so when I read from the table, my table is the sign that is equal, greater or equal. So I have to read greater or equal than 5. Okay, so I have the probability X greater or equal than 5 minus with the probability greater or equal than 15. Okay, so this one must be correct first before you read. So then you read from the table. Then you will get the answer. So this is how I suggest to my student. Okay, so let's say, so you want to find the probability of X equal to 9. So let's say this is the 9, this is the 8, this is the 10. So I just want this. Okay, how I do is that I ask my student, okay, you read greater or equal than 9. Because your table is greater or equal sign, so you subtract with the greater or equal than 10. So you are going to get the degree in between here. Okay, so you read from the table greater than 9, subtract the table greater or equal than 10. So you read from the table corresponding value lambda of table. Okay, then you will get the answer. Okay. Okay, so after this, for these chapters, so we have the normal distribution with the parameter of mean and the variance. Okay, so before do this, normally we are going to read from the standardized normal distribution. That's why we have to do this process, okay, to convert it to the normal distribution with the mean 0 and 1. So this is the process that we need to do before you read from the table. Okay, so kita tukar dia punya mean ke kosong and the variance adalah 1. Okay, let's. Okay, so to evaluate this, I think that most of you already know these two things. So to read from the normal distribution table, so normally we have to use the reflection. So kalau less than 0, they are equivalent. Okay, please take note, kalau less or equal than minus A, dia adalah sama, greater than A, and so on. Okay, kalau this region, minus and A, so they are equivalent to 1 minus probability. So you just read this from the table. Okay, and in between, so you akan guna 1 minus 2 kali 2 times the probability Z greater. So you just omitted these two parts. So you are going to get the region in between. And finally, is the distribution approximation. So the questions will come out in how you change, how you convert the discrete. Okay, you change the binomial to continuous whenever you have the n is greater than 50. Dia sangat besar. Okay, you cannot read, so you have to do the approximation. Since we want to change for the histogram diagram satu persatu, we change to the normal bell. So we need a process that we call a continuity corrections. Okay, continuity correction. So you gonna buat some adjustment. Okay, so if the MP, okay, so normal distribution is suitable for you to use. Okay, sometimes they will ask you questions. State whether it's suitable. Whenever your MP is greater or equal than 5, so the normal distribution is a suitable choice. Okay, this is the continuity corrections formula. Okay, so kalau daripada discrete, you turn kepada continuous, so you kena buat some adjustment macam ni. Okay, kejap negatif, kejap positif, kejap so you pun akan pening. Okay, I will teach you a way. I suggest my student no need to memorize this. You just can do a method that I call the petua gigi palsu. I will show you how I will demonstrate to you, or you may kindly go to the link of this. I already record down how I convert all this into this formula by using the petua gigi palsu as this. Okay, I will show you on this method. We only have 4 simple steps. Okay, step 1, kita draw gigi seberapa yang boleh, at least 3 lah. Okay, based on the questions given. Okay, after that, you shaded the region that you want. Shaded dulu. Katakan saya nak 2 gigi ni. Okay, katakan so saya nak probability S greater than A ni. Okay, saya nak buat correction continuity. So, bila saya besar A, saya akan rotate 2 batang this, right? Okay, after that, step 3, I draw my normal bell. Okay, I'm going to change from the binomial to normal. Okay, okay, then I do my cutting point here. I cut. Okay, nampak ke adik? This one is A, so the distance is 0.5 and here is 0.5. That's why I may do the corrections to A plus 0.5. So this one will be greater than A plus 0.5. Okay, you can kindly check your formula table. So they have the same. They adalah sama. So you just use these 4 steps. So you no need to memorize. You just do the shaded region as this. Okay, for example lah, saya show you the first one. Okay, for x equal to 10, macam mana saya nak buat correction? Okay, I shaded kan? So I do the normal bell. Okay, I cut. Okay, I will get 9.5 and 10.5. That is why I will get the region in between. Okay, in between. Okay, the second one I show you kalau greater than 10. Ini 10 kan? Greater than 10 is not included. So my shaded region will be here. Okay, and I draw my normal bell. I cut. Okay, here you see the 10. So 10 are going to add 0.5. We're going to start from here because I just want this region. So I'm is do the correction to x is greater than 10.5. You tak payah hafal this one. Okay, one more I show you. After this you can try yourself. Okay, so kalau yang ini less or equal than 10 ini. Okay, semua kan? So you do the normal bell, you cut. Okay, this is why class you will see when I do the corrections. Okay, I will have the less than 10.5 and so on. Okay, less than 10.5 and so on. So very easy. Kalau yang besar sama, so you go back and try. Okay, you try this method. You can look at the video that in this the tiny.cc petua gigi. So I already recorded down, so you can go back and try. And finally, okay, there are some important words to max operators that you have to take note in chapter 10. Okay, so this is the keywords that I already list out the normal questions that will come out. So less than A, more than A, and most A, at least A exactly. Dia punya simbol adalah as this. Okay, so you can go back and study. Okay, go back and study. So basically the words come out is this lah. This. Kalau none maksudnya x equal to 0, not less than, not more than. So dia punya mathematical operator is as this. Okay, so before I end my sections, that I just want to give you some words of encouragement. Okay, what I say is that your determinations and talent will help you achieve success in your examinations. No matter just now, some of you have the feeling of fear or whatever it is, do not fear and keep up your effort. I have strong faith that you will rise and shine in your exam. So you will, first thing, you might have a self-confidence. Okay, I know that you can do it. Okay, you can do it well. Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, so I think it's come to the second slot. So before we continue, so thank you so much for Madam Lim is giving us a lot of the suggestion or sparking note and also, but actually there is a one problem. We have so many notes, we have so many techniques, but during examination, when you enter the exam hall, are you able to apply it? That's a problem. So my dear, let us do some experiment. So now could you please try to focus my screen? Okay, you focus my screen and look at my fingers. Okay, look at my fingers. So I will ask you the question and then you try to answer it in your heart. For sure, I cannot hear you, but just a small experiment. Okay, so are you ready with it? Okay, ready with it, eh? So let's have some experiment. Okay, so now you look at it. What is the number of this? 1, isn't it? What is the number of this? 2. So 1 plus 1 equals 2? Okay. So what is your answer? How many of you answering 3? How many of you answer 2? Okay, so you know yourself. If you're answering 2, it means that your brain is still function. Okay, because there is so many notes and also suggested solution that is shared by our beloved lecturer. So if you are very clear with all the concept, then your brain will be function in a function. But if you're answering 3, maybe you are too tired, so you need to take a rest. Okay, so that's why last minute tips actually is not only about how to answering the question, we have to settle our mind. Okay, we have to settle our mind. Eh? So is it anyone can respond? Is this you are answering 2 or you're answering 3 during just now the experiment? How many of you answering 3? So it means you know yourself, you need to take a rest. So now let us do some activity. So may I borrow your fingers? Okay, borrow your fingers, eh? Okay, if you're answering 2, that's good, eh? Okay, and may I borrow your fingers? Let us do some activity together to relax our mind since we have so many notes already come into our brain, especially during the study weeks or study days they are doing, eh? So I borrow your fingers. Okay, let us do it together, eh? So when I say A, then we do like this. Okay, so are we doing some activity of the fingers actually is training our brain as well, eh? Before I proceed to the review topic 3 to 5. Mine is a more to the tips and the technique how to answering. Okay, no notes for you, but it's more to the tips because during exam we need to apply and remember, and also you can have the initial idea that is more important. Okay, so now let us take a look this one, eh? Okay, so later when we can sing it together. Actually, the song is very simple. Okay, relax your mind before we enter the second slot, eh? Okay, it's like this. A. Starting, you do this. A. Good morning, Good morning, Everybody, good morning, Good morning, Good morning, Everybody, good morning. Come on, let us do it together before we enter the second slot. Are you ready with it? So we will make the tempo is faster, but please don't be a wiper. When you're doing the wiper, you are not thinking. Okay, when ya, then we come up. Okay, so at left and right. Okay, we just do one time before I start my slot. Okay, ready? Go. Hey, good morning, good morning, everybody, good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody, good morning. Okay, so thank you so much. It's just a small training. Okay, just a small training, train your brain, and also you try to stop before you enter a new slot. So this is my suggestion when you are doing revision, no matter it's a subject for mathematics, physics, chemistry, biology, or computer science. Okay, so now are you ready for my slot together with me? And thank you so much. You still remain early in the morning, okay, together with us. If you are ready with it, give me some response in the chat box. What is the response that you should give? Okay, you can just write ready. You just write ready. Then I'm going to start with it. Because the topic 3 to 5 is kisah lama kan. It's been long times ago before the UPS, mid semester break. Okay, you answer 3. Okay, thank you Iman. Thank you Ili. Ready? Okay, very good. Kiruba and also Olia, Fatin Izzati. Thank you so much. You are ready with it. So if you are ready with it, do not forget to subscribe our channel and also you enter the Telegram group because after the tips, the question that I give it to you, I need you to give some response in the group and then I will show you the solution from there. Because if I tell you, you tend to forget. But if you do it and then we discuss it in the group, then for sure, we'll make sure your PSPM can score well. So if you're ready with it, I'm start from the topic 3. So ready yourself with the calculator because topic 3 is numerical method. We need calculator. So if you're ready with it, let's proceed to this. Okay, the very important note is, okay, so when you are checking the question paper, because before you start, right, normally they'll say that, okay, sila semak kertas soalan anda. Okay, page 1, page 2. So while you are checking the question, you can take a look. Is any trigonometric function involved under the topic 3? Because as we know that if a trigonometric function involved and our Mr. 570, calculator lah, Mr. 570, you must put it as a radian mode. Okay? If not, the whole calculation will become wrong. So it means it's not worth, you know the method, but because of the mode is wrong. Okay, for example, let's say you are given square root of x minus sine x equals to 0. So you are going to enter this into your calculator. So setting it as a radian. Okay, secondly, do not get confused when you are doing differentiation and integration when it's come into the NewtonRaphson. So this is a NewtonRaphson formula. If you forget about the formula, how? Don't worry. Okay, actually this formula is given, so you can flip to the formula list. You take a look. We need function fx and f prime x. So this is what I mentioned and I would like to highlight is the f prime x, you will tend to do the wrong calculation or wrong solution. For example, fx equals to this. So here we have 2 solutions. So which one is correct one? F prime x, which one is the correct one? Differentiate sine x. Differentiate sine x. We get the positive or negative. So this is something you might tend to confuse, especially when you are nervous. Okay, you will tend to mix to the solution. So you have to remember differentiation, positive sign. Okay, sine to cos is a positive. For me, I just remember one because the school community is something positive. Okay, but when cos to sine, differentiate cos, you will get a negative sign. Why? CS, Counter-Strike bunuh orang tak bagus ni. Maybe you can use some tips, use some notes to remember and you won't forget. Actually, you know. The problem is during exam, your emotion allow you to make the correct decision or not. That is a problem. Okay, so for sure from this question, actually this is a correct one. This is a wrong one. So be careful with it when you're doing differentiations. Okay, other than the trigonometry. And the second function that I'm worried you will tend to do the mistake is an exponential. For example, okay, fx equals to e to x. So my dear, what is the f prime x? Because you have done so many integration for this semester, right? So it should be 2e to x. But student tends to answer fx equals to E2x over 2. So which is wrong? This is correct. So this is a tips that for NewtonRaphson you must clear before you start to do the question. Okay? Okay, and then NewtonRaphson, I think this is the only thing you have to take note first. And then after that, the second tips, you take a look this one. Okay, I'm not going to show you the whole workings there, how to get this from there, how to from A to Z, because you already know about it. And I'm very sure that most of the lecturer in the matriculation, they try their best and try to do revision together with you. So I just want to highlight something, which is when you're applying the stopping criteria, when the question mentioned about decimal places and also about significant figures. Because if you forget to take a look this instruction, even though you get the full marks, at last you will get penalty because you are not follow the instruction. Okay, so this is the two example that I'm given to you. Okay, firstly, I just need you to highlight the question, right? Because you can bring the highlighter into the exam hall, isn't it? You take the highlighter, try to highlight, okay, this question letter, I need to give the answer in 3 decimal places, for example 1. Example 2, you have to leave it in the 3 significant figures. Therefore, during the calculation, we must take more than 3 because this is not the final answer. So they ask for 3, then here you have to take 4 or more. Normally you take 4 is enough. Okay, and when you are going to stop, so when this is called the first iteration, and this is a second iteration. So the first iteration and the second iteration is still remain the different values. So for sure, we cannot apply the stopping criteria. And when it comes to the S4, I'm based on this question, you found that it's exactly the same as the previous iteration. So we have to stop here. You cannot say that, I would like to confirm back again whether it's really get negative 0.5671. So you do one more, S5 equals 2. So from there, it means you are not understand what does mean by stopping criteria. It's not saying that more terms with the similar values or constant value, then that will be the sure solution. Okay, the stopping criteria here is based on this example. Okay, you found that they keep constant, the result is constant, no changes, or there is a criteria, stopping criteria concept just now Madeline did mention. Okay, then you just stop it. Okay, after you stop it, do not forget the required solution. We have to draw conclusion, and the conclusion have to make based on the specific decimal places that is given by the question. Okay, so this is called decimal places. So when it comes to significant figures, so take a look. So the answer you get that the stopping criteria you stop by after you get 1.6344. Okay, but when you draw conclusion, the root it should be 1.63. So I believe that most of the candidate actually you knew how to apply the formula, how to use the calculator. The only problem is the last part of the question. Okay, so this is the second tip, stopping criteria, decimal and significant figures. Okay, so this is a NewtonRaphson. Okay, so now let us proceed to the numerical method. We still have another method, which is trapezoidal rule. So I hope you can jot down, take your pen, or maybe highlighter, or you can screenshot whatever I'm going to show for the next. Okay, so this is the 3 things that I think you have to remember. Understand about the terms, because when you analyze wrongly the terms, for sure will be end up with the wrong solution. Okay, so just now already mentioned about, right, when you given a interval, sub-interval or stripes, actually that give you the same meaning. But when you given the ordinate, you have to be careful with it. Ordinate and interval is a different category. Okay, for example, so when we mention about 6 interval, so this one will bring you to the meaning the terms n is equals to 6, exactly the same. But when I'm giving you 6 ordinate, so the n it will be reduced by 1. This is my suggestion for you. You don't memorize it, just understand and doing the comparison by taking the same figure. Okay? So once you clear with this one, okay, lepas, okay, there should be no problem. Okay? So after you get it, And then we need to find the h, isn't it? So as we know that h is equals to b minus a over n. Okay, the n is correct. So for sure, the next step, you are finding the h. So we try to express the h in exact value form for repeating decimal or any irrational number. For example, if you're getting 1 over 3. So this is a repeating decimal, 0.33333. Irrational number maybe in terms of exponential or pi. Okay, so this is something you have to know. Don't worry, the next example I will showing the tips 2 and tips 3. And using the calculator in finding the y0 to yn. So it will be very fast. Okay, so ready yourself with a calculator, do it together with me. Okay, so this is an example. Use the trapezoidal rule with n. Luckily, the question telling you n equals to 6. To approximate. So here I'm purposely taking the trigonometry function and the trigonometry function with the square form and the limit involve irrational number. Okay, so the h, it will be pi minus 0, upper limit minus lower limit over the subinterval. Okay, so that's why the h, please leave it as a pi over 6. Pi over 6. Okay, okay. Then after that, okay, after you getting this pi over 6, so now we show you in table. Okay, so this is a table, then you are using 0 as a beginning and make sure the pi is the ending. So 0 plus h. So your h is pi over 6. So from 1 to another 1, okay, is pi over 6. Okay, and then continue again plus pi over 6 until the last one must be pi. I think this one, most of you okay with it. The only problem is you just have to remember the final, the last limit must be pi, cannot in the decimal. Okay, so now take out your calculator. Okay, are you ready with it? Take out your calculator. Okay, how we can get the y0 to yn in the calculator without calculate it one by one? Okay, firstly, we choose the mod and you choose the table. For the new calculator, your mod will be 9. Your table option is 9. So again, you choose the mod. For the silver one is a 7. For the letters mode of the calculator is 9. So when you're choosing 7, okay, table, so we key in the function. So y equal to sine square x. You have the square. So my suggestion is open the bracket, key in sine alpha x, close it. Okay, and then only square. Okay, you get what I mean here? Okay, and then remember the mode must be radian. So if your calculator with a R, it means it's already in radian. So press the enter. So gx, we have no second function. So just ignore it, equals to. So what does it mean by the start? The start is referring to the S0. So you press a 0. So the ending is a S6. So we choose the pi. So what is a step? The step is referring the values of h. Okay, so we key in the h as a pi over 6. So then we will come up with all the table. So now from here, the first and last interval. So when x equals to 0, your y value is a 0. So you just key in 0. So this one, the next 0.25 is referring to the pi over 6. You put it here, 0.25. We put it at the second column. Okay, so this as the first column, you put it as a 0 here. So just now, this one is 0.25. Coincident, okay, the decimal is a terminating decimal. Okay, so no problem with it. So the same thing, you highlight the second one, the 1.0471. The 1.0471 actually is referring to pi over 3. Okay, then you just copy down all the values from the table. Okay, until the last one. Okay, the last one is also the 0 as well. And then you give the total up. Okay, total up the values and substitute into the formula. Again, I'm not going to show you working step. I just want you to make sure the working step for the beginning must be correct. Okay, the other, I believe that you already know how to make it. Okay, so I would like to repeat again. Firstly, the function sine square x, the way key in function sine square x, okay, choosing the mod table, key in the function, okay, and also how to find the table with the proper decimal form, and lastly only apply to the formula. So I'm not going to show you formula. Okay, this is something that you have to be careful when you're applying the NewtonRaphson and also trapezoidal rule. So I hope you're clear with it. Okay, so this is a chapter 3. So chapter 3, understand about these two. Okay, and there should be no problem. I hope the tips for the the tips for the calculator is to really help you to save your time and for sure increase the accuracy of your solution. Okay, so this is chapter 3, eh? Okay, come to chapter 4. Okay, so because of the constraint of time, I will try. Okay, I'll try my best, just sharing the tips with you, eh? Okay, for the chapter 4, we know that we have 3 conics in our learning outcome. Okay, in our learning outcome. So actually, I have a tips for you is when you are given in general form, because now you already get used with the standard form. When you're given in the general form, ax squared plus by squared until the constant e equals to 0. So how you know that which conics it belongs to? So there is a 4 level here. Okay, the first level, is there only one square term? The meaning one square term is only x squared or y squared. Okay, you don't have both variable in square form. So if that, then the answer will be parabola. Okay, you must identify correctly the conics before you start your working step. Okay, if you didn't found that it's a 1 square form, okay, let us move to the level 2. Okay, are the coefficient of square terms equal? The meaning the square term equal is referring to the values of a and b is equal, such as if 2, both with 2, if 1, both with 1. So if the values are the same, then it will be a circle. Okay, it will be the circle. For example, I give you the example, x squared plus y squared plus 4x plus 7y plus 7 equals to 0. Okay, so it's controlled by the x squared and y squared. So if they are different, then we will proceed to this. If they have the opposite sign, the meaning of opposite sign is mean maybe a x squared plus by squared is referring to this. Okay, for example, if you're given 2x squared minus 4y squared. If you get opposite sign, actually we call it hyperbola. It's not in our learning outcome, but actually this is a one package we should understand about it. So when they are in the positive term, for example, 2x squared plus 4y squared. So if you're getting this, so it means it's referring to the ellipse. Because sometimes maybe the question will say that from the general form above, identify which conics it belongs to. If the question straight away telling you it's an ellipse, that's fine. But when they ask you to identify, so this is some tips to helping you. Okay, I hope you're clear with it. Okay, next. Okay, let us start from the circle. So I just given you some trying to match the sentences and also the diagram. For conics, actually the first thing you need to illustrate the scenario from the sentences. Then you only can decide what is the next step to do. Okay, so let us take a look. Okay, a straight line x minus y plus 2 equals to 0 touch. Touch is means that, let's say for example, my hand is a line. So when I'm touching my head, it means that the intersection is only 1 point. So a circle straight line touch the point A. So it belongs to, so we have so many A here, but which one is a line touching? Okay, so it's referring to this. Okay, so only touching with a tangent line. So automatically you understand that this is belongs to tangent. Okay. Secondly, point A and B are the end points of diameter. So when we mention about diameter, it means the straight line must pass through center. So it belongs to this. You can do it together with me, my dear. Okay, it doesn't mean you have to wait for my solution. So you can test yourself whether you can make it or not. Okay, and then after that, a circle passes through. So I need you to take a look. What's the differences these two? Because both statement given 2 points, but the points A and B is endpoint, then it only can belongs to this. But when it's mentioned passes through point A and B, it means it's 2 random point on the circumference, but it doesn't mean must be a diameter. Okay, so you have to be careful with it. So most of the candidates somehow they do the wrong assumption. So they assume this statement as the circle with the red region. Okay, so be careful with it. Okay, so we proceed to the second set. How about this? Point P and Q are points of tangency. Okay, maybe some of you don't know what does mean by points of tangency. It means the point that intersection between the line and the circle. Okay, point P and Q are points of tangency. So it means P and Q respectively having a tangent line. So it belongs to this. Right? Point P is the tangency point for the line, tangent line. And this is the tangency point for another tangent line. Okay, actually, if you're unable to imagine it, you can try to use your body. Okay, for example, I'm the point. Okay, our head is a point. When you're holding your line, okay, when you put your hands like this, your hands actually you try to imagine you are holding a basketball. So your hands touching the basketball, and then the place that you're touching is called tangency point, and your both hands will call it tangent line. Okay, it's a tangent line. Okay, so this is the first one. Second one, point P and Q form a segment line. So form a segment line for sure, it will be this. It will be intersect. Okay, the segment line is means that the line will intersect with circle. But it doesn't mean must be passes through center. Okay, so for sure the last one, a circle intersect. Okay, take a look. A circle intersect straight line at 2 points. Do you have any matching? Do you have any matching diagram with this statement? A circle intersect straight line at 2 points based on the left side diagram. Anyone say the L? It must be the yellow one because that is the remaining answer. No solution for this case. So you have to clear the sentences. It's not saying that all eliminated and then it belongs to this. Okay, so a circle intersect at the 2 point actually is the previous set of questions that I'm showing you. Okay, so circle intersect at the 2 point. Okay, so it can be which one? Intersect at 2 point. No solution. Because I didn't mention point P or point Q here. If I saying that a circle intersect straight line at 2 points P and Q, then it will be belongs to this. You get a point here? So it's very important for us to read the sentences and convert it into the mathematical form in the diagrams, and then we only start for the working step. I hope it can help you. Okay, so come to the last one. A circle intersect straight line at 2 points. You can take a look and do it. A circle intersect straight line at 2 points. Okay, if you don't have the solution, can leave it. A circle whose center on straight line and passes through point P and Q. Look at it. A circle, okay, center on a straight line. So ini statement pertama. Statement kedua, a circle passes through point P and Q. So there are two different situations. You have a straight line, passes through center, HK. And the circle also contains 2 points P and Q. So this is the meaning. Okay. So I think this is most of the students that get confused. Okay. And they come to the next part. It will be intersection point of tangent line. You have to read it. Which is a which is subject? Who is a predicate? Intersect point of tangent line. So it means you must have two straight line and they intersect at the 1 point. So this one is what we call it. Okay. Tangent line at point P is belongs to the line 1. Tangent line at point Q is referring to the line 2. Okay, so they intersect with another point outside of the circle. Okay, and then the last one for sure is this. A circle whose center at the center, HK, and containing point P. So this will be the last one. Okay. So maybe you should practice this instead of you look at the question and do and do and do. But you have the initial idea how to start. Then no point as well. Okay. So this is what I'm going to highlight for circle. Okay. How to solve it? That is another one. I give you one question. Actually, this is a famous question. So see whether you are able to illustrate it or not. Okay. I give it about 1 minute. Try to illustrate. Try to illustrate. We only proceed to question. Okay. The equation of the common tangent. Common tangent means that this straight line touching at the circle and also touching the parabola. Touching the circle with this particular equation. So from here, try to identify what is the center. And also the parabola y squared equals to 4x. So you have to determine is open up or down, left or right. Okay? So maybe you can link to quadratic function that you learned before is always x in square form. So automatic, this case, this is up. It cannot be. It cannot upward or downward. Okay, so it belongs to open left or open right. And another way you can identify from here, 4x, y is always positive when the x is positive. So it means that it should be open to the right. So because when x is positive, then you get the y is a positive. Y squared, right? Y squared is always positive. So the 4x is positive. Okay, because some of you are using 4p, right? P greater than 0, p less than 0. When you are blur, you already forget upper p, kan? Then we use logic. Okay, we use a logic thinking. Okay, so are you able to illustrate it? How many of you are able to illustrate it? Okay, so let us double check, see whether it's same as mine or not. Okay, so first, the parabola with the vertex. What is a vertex? The vertex is at the origin, right? The zero of factor of y and zero of factor for x, okay, is at the origin. And the circle, what is the center of the circle? Okay, I'm saying that it's touching here as well because the center is 3, 0 with the radius 3. Okay, the center is a 3, 0. Okay, this is a 3, 0 here. Cannot see it. Okay, this is a 3, 0. And because of the radius is also 3, so it's also touching here. Okay, and the orange line is the common tangent. Common tangent. Okay, between the circle and also the parabola. Okay. Okay, so how to finding the equation of common tangent? This is some question I need you to try, and then later I will release the solution in the Telegram group. So if you still haven't joined us, you can go to the live chat, finding our Telegram group link. Or maybe I can give you right now. Okay, so later maybe the moderator, they will give you the link. Okay, and then we share the solutions together. So my aim points for today's section is teach you how to illustrate. And then the next solution, we need discussion in the group. Is it okay? Okay, so you try to illustrate that. Later I will show you the complete solution. Okay, so this question, I merge the circle and parabolas together. Parabola is not that difficult and not that complicated if compared with the ellipse. Okay, therefore, other than the circle, parabola, for the ellipse, I need to highlight about the completing the square skill. Okay, let's take a look. For the completing the square skill, I found a link. Maybe you can scan the link and practice your completing the square. when the x square and y square is different. Did you notice here the coefficient x square and y square is different? So you can practice and then you try to key in your answer. Then you can check your answer. If you get it correctly, then they will give you another question again. And then from there, you can double check whether you're completing a square is correct or not. You can give it a try. Okay, we just share with you. Okay, so I'm not going to mention more. Ellipse, you already know about it. But I just want to highlight one thing. Ellipse, you have to clear the situation, the category. Do you know when is the case A greater than B? How it looks like? And do you know that what is a case that when B greater than A? How it looks like? This is more important. Okay, so A greater than B. So you can imagine the horizontal distance is A. So vertical distance as a B. So when the horizontal is longer, obviously the ellipse must be horizontal major axis. And you just remember one. And then the other one will be the opposite situation. Okay, then the remaining part, I think you can do it. Okay, we no need to talk more about this. Okay, so for the topic 4, the marks is about 70%. So then you need to cover the 3 subtopics. So every single one you must clear. So I would like to do the conclusion. The first thing what you need to do is learn how to illustrate from the scenario. Secondly, please practice well for your completing the square. And the last part is for each conics, what is the category and the condition? Okay, so you can practice it from the question. Okay, so this is a topic 4. And now the last part. Okay, you take a look at this question, the critical thinking. When the question given you, find equation of ellipse with the coordinate of foci. So you have 2 foci here. So you can imagine square root 30 is here. Negative square root 30 is here. So the changes is at the x coordinate. So it will be looks like a horizontal ellipse. Later I will show you a video, okay, which is a Tai Chi. Using Tai Chi, how to illustrate the ellipse based on the axis. So please stay tuned in our telegrams. I will give you the video. And for sure, the last part I need to highlight is this one. Center point. Center point is always the midpoint of the pair of foci, major vertices, and also minor. Okay, if you given the information is about the coordinate, and then please think about the midpoint as a center. Okay, so that is a chapter 4. Okay, that is a chapter 4. Later you can drop your question in a chat box or maybe in a group. No problems. Okay, the more important is you must discuss, argue. It's okay. From the argument, we learn things. Okay, so that is only the topic 4 and come to the last one. Okay, this is about 70% and the vector is around 14%. Okay, so from the 14%, I would like you to take a look about 3 things. One is about the properties and line and plane. Properties, line and plane. I cannot figure out or listing out what is the question, but we should get about the basic concept. Okay, so please take a look at this question. This is a question from my students. Okay, so I found that this is something most of the students will tend to get stuck when they're taking the question about trigonometry side again. What is talking about? Right. Okay, so now, my dear, please take a look. So there is some keyword from this question. You can give it a try. Okay, if the vector A and vector B are unit vectors. So do you still remember what is the definition of unit vectors? Unit vector is a vector with the magnitude 1. So the keyword is understand. Go and figure out what is a unit vector and also what does it mean by properties of dot product. Properties of dot product. So the very clear thing is magnitude A must be 1, magnitude B must be 1 as well, and the dot product using the key formula. So A dot B as a following, based on this question, since both magnitude with 1, so we can say that A dot B is equals to cos theta. Okay, so the problem is how to use the properties. How to use the properties. So you take a look the left hand side. Please intai sikit soalan Take a look the question. Actually what you want. How I can have the operation A minus B since the question just telling me that A and B are unit vectors. So therefore here actually is related to the properties of dot product. So as we know that A dot A actually is equals to magnitude A cos 0 because the vector A and A, the angle is 0. So cos 0 can give it a 1. So it means that you are able to get that magnitude A in square form. So this is what the meaning properties of dot product. It didn't tell you what kind of dot product, but we should understand about it. Okay, therefore we start from the left-hand side. Okay, we start from, since the question asking for A minus B. So we're using A minus B dot A minus B. And then the right side is expanded as usual. You get the A dot A until the B dot B. This one, I believe most of the students very good on this. Just don't know how to apply the properties. Okay, the left side automatic based on this concept, right? The left hand side automatic, you get magnitude A minus B squared. And the right hand side, magnitude A squared, magnitude B squared, it can be simplified as the values because magnitude is the values, it's not the what? It's the values that you can obtain. Even though you are not given a vector here, but it's telling you that it's a unit vector. So we can say that this is 1, this is 1. So you get that it's a 2 minus 2 cos theta. Why cos theta? Because here I already telling you, right? A dot B equals to cos theta in this case. Please take note, only this case. Okay, so now cos theta, how to convert it become the sine. And some more, the changes of the angle is from theta become theta over 2. So we use the double angle or half angle formula. Okay, and then the right hand side, the cos theta will be replaced as 1 minus. Okay, 1 minus 2 sine squared theta over 2. So from here, you get that the 4 sine squared theta over 2. So come back to the question. You no need a square form. So when you square root both sides, automatically you get what we need. Okay. So that's why I say vector are the 3 parts. You should take a look as well. Okay. Because it's in a part B. So the question is not that directly. Okay. So this is the first one. Okay. The second one. Okay. This question. I just want to share the tips with you. The working solution, please stay tuned in the group. Okay, so this question involves line and plane. Okay, this question involves line and plane. So line 1, line 2, respectively, is given in parametric equation, right? So the first one, you need to find the points of intersection. Secondly, is determine the cosine of angle. What does it mean by cosine of angle? Angle normally is finding theta. So cosine of angle is referring to cos theta. Okay. And then after that, you need to find the equation. What is it? Equation in form. This one is referring to the plane. So you have to be careful with it when they mix up the question together. Containing. What does it mean by a plane containing the line? Just like I saying that the bed contain you. What does it mean? The bed contain you. You punya katil ada you. You baring di atas katil itu. So it means here is mean you have 2 lines is lying on the plane. That's the meaning. Okay. And then after that, how to find the intersection. Find the intersection point for the line L and also the plane. Okay. So now I'm going to give you the tips only. Okay. First, finding points of intersection. Line 1 equals to line 2. Okay, you equate their equation. So you have this line 1 equals to line 2. So from here, you have 2 variables S and T. So the tips is, listen carefully, comparing coefficient I, J, and K to get equation in terms of S and T. Okay, and then after that, you solve it simultaneous, you get the coordinate. Okay, I just throw you the idea. Later, you can ask in group. Okay, so this is for question A, the tips. Okay, when finding line and line, intersection between line and line, that is a tips. Second one, determine the cosine. So applying the dot product formula, since there is a two line, so we're taking direction vector V1, direction vector V2 from here. So from here, what is your V1? This is referring to your V1. And this is referring to your V2. So just do it as usual. But the calculator mode, because you are finding the angle. Remember just now topic 3, you're already setting as a radian. Do not forget to setting back the mode as a degree. If not, you will get the wrong values again. So this is something you have to be careful. Okay, and then finding the equation containing the line. Okay, so we can illustrate as the following. The line with the L1, L2 here. So you need to find the cross product. Okay, any two vectors on plane, you need to find the cross product. And the cross product, you will produce a perpendicular vector, right? This is called perpendicular vector. And this perpendicular vector, we name it as an N. So lastly, we use a rotinan. Rotinan is a plane, rotinan. So the N is referring to the cross product of two vectors on plane. And the A, what does it mean by the A? The A is referring to the position vector from any lines that given. Okay, because you have this 432 or 487 as a choice of position vectors. Okay, so this is a question C. Give it a try. And the last one, I really like it because many people feel like it's quite complicated find intersection point, isn't it? I have a tips for you. The tips in finding intersection point line 1 and the plane. Okay, I will start with the symbolic tips because there are too many procedure. So the sini I put it as a PEL CEP. So what does it mean by PEL? Parametric equation of line. So it means it's a line L1. So what is a parametric equation of line? 4 plus negative 2x, 3 plus x, 2 plus negative x. So this is called PEL, parametric equation of line. And this arrow is represent substitute into the Cartesian equation of plane. So now you're given the plane P here, right? So it's already in terms of Cartesian. So this is a CEP. And this is a PEL. Okay, so when you substitute corresponding x, y, and z into it, you will obtain the value of s. Because in this case, you are given the scalar is x. It can be t, it can be lambda. Okay, based on this case, you're getting the s values. After you getting the s value, another arrow. What does it mean by this arrow? It represents substitute back to the PEL. Right, after you obtain the s, substitute back to the PEL, you will obtain x, y, and z. And these three values, and you have to write it in coordinate form as an intersection point between line and plane. Okay, so this is a tips for the chapter 5, 4, and 3 that I'm sharing with you. So if you have any question or you have any things, you can drop down. We are still having some Q&A situation. Okay, and the last part, actually, I just want to show the very last part is you have to remember 100 marks for 120 minutes, right? You have so many topics you have to gather. So you can try to estimate your time. If the question is 5 marks, so you should spend less than 6 minutes. So when you are doing practice question, you should set the timing yourself. You only can manage your time. And my suggestion for section A, you try to complete within 30 minutes. And then you will spend more time on the section B because you have 7 questions at the section B. Okay, and the last part with me, I would like to take a look at this one. A big goal, get the big result. No goals, you get no result or somebody else result. So this is a very interesting quote that I like because this morning, when I have a problems, I will flip this book. Nothing is impossible because I'm worried about today what I'm going to share with you. So when I just open the page, I get this quote. So this is the quote that God give it to me that I would like to share with you. Okay, so the top tips, actually, you can take a look here. Okay, I think I'm no need to explain it to you. Many teacher or many lecturer already share with you. I just hope that you must setting a goal. What is your goal? 4 flat. So what is your effort? Do it well. How to do it well? Plan your time. How to plan it out your time for this moment? Avoid your social media at this moment. And also do not forget to practice and take a break. Okay, so I think that's all from me. Okay, so I pass the section back to the Mr. Shakir, moderator. Okay,
I think can't hear Shakir.
moderator, we cannot hear you.
Boleh dengar?
Okay, dah.
Okay. Terima kasih kepada Miss Jade kita dengan Madam Lim tentang slot tadi. Jadi kita akan terusnya untuk slot kita yang terakhir lah untuk sesi kita ni, which is Q&A kita. Jadi kita akan teruskan slot kita. Jadi student yang ada soalan boleh kemukakan di bahagian komen sementara kita menunggu soalan ni. Saya akan tunjukkan soalan yang ada. Okay, daripada YH Lee bertanya berkenaan dengan Raphson method. Okay, for NewtonRaphson method, answer required in 3 decimal places.
Okay,
If
this
X,
is NewtonRaphson.
Yeah.
Okay, based on this question, okay, just this is an example I'm showing you just now, right? Okay, so from the S3 is the first value that you get if compared with the 0.5663. Okay, so and then the S4 is a 5.661. So you will stop at the S4. Okay, stop at the S4 and then draw conclusion if this asks for 3 decimal places, and it will be 5.66. So if anything, Madeline would like to add on for this.
Yeah, because I think there is a typing error, right? The S4 is 0.
That's why it's confusing.
Okay,
it's
normally we are
0.5.
going to use the stopping criteria. The difference absolute of x4 minus x3 is less than 0.0000 because it's left 4 decimal place. So we can based on the calculations. So because for calculation it's 4 decimal place, so we have to make sure that there is no. I think the difference is less than 0.000. So that's means we are going to stop at x4 for these cases.
Okay.
Then only without.
For YH Lee, if really you get 5.6661, it means that your iteration does not converge, it's diverge. If really, if not typing error, but you get 5.6661,
I think maybe
something
it's
wrong.
Typo.
If typo, then it's good. If this is not typo, it means maybe your function f prime x you differentiate wrongly. Then your iteration is not converge, it's become diverge. You cannot get the solution. Okay.
Okay, kita masih lagi menanti soalan pelajar kita. Sementara tu boleh tanya sebarang soalan pun, mungkin kalau tak melibatkan maksud dia chapter, mungkin boleh tanya tips ke tricks ke last minute study ke. Jangan takutlah untuk bertanya. Kita terima sebarang soalan di akhir-akhir ni kan persediaan. Boleh tanya sebarang di komen lah, saya masih menanti lagi sebarang soalan. Cuma kita akan ada beberapa pelajar cakap terima kasih lah kan, thank you. Okay. Untuk
Mimi.
Kita masih lagi menanti soalan. Soalan. Okay. Belum ada lagi.
Maybe they are too shy to ask because they just not saying that worried. Scared of.
They've been feeling worried, afraid.
Feeling worried, afraid.
Sebarang soalan boleh tanya kat Telegram lah, so we will try to answer. Yasmin.
Kita ada satu soalan daripada SSY Yasmin. Madam, I'm sorry. the point of two intersection line is in syllabus because there is only angle between two line. So, jadi siapa yang boleh jawab ni?
Okay, so actually this is just about finding angles. Okay, this is just about finding angle. For the point of intersection line, it's just like using the previous knowledge. Okay, that's why I just give you the add-on applicable question, because do not forget vector is in section B. We have learned about equation of straight line. So in finding intersection point between the line and line, we also can just solve easily by using simultaneous. Okay. Madeline, anything want to add on?
Yes, according to the syllabus, we only find the point of intersections between a line and a plane. And we exclude the intersections between two lines and between two planes.
Yeah,
so
this is just an add-on value for
it's
you.
an add-on language.
Do not worry.
add-on
That's why just now I didn't show you that one by one.
How
Just
to
want you
show,
to make a differences when finding intersection point. Which one that we should focus? That's why I've shared
yeah.
you with the last tip. Okay, the point
because
at the
what's stated in CS is point and between line and the plane. Yeah.
Okay, kita ada satu lagi soalan daripada
extra
Zax VS. Okay. How do you find equations of plane when questions give a point and equations of line?
Okay, so this one I think I can share with you. Okay, maybe I need to share the screen.
Okay, saya letakkan screen ya. Okay.
Okay, so this is a given line. For example, the given line is already given A plus TV. Okay, A plus TV. It means the equation is known. Okay, so you have even a 1 point here. Okay, that is a A, right? And then you have the direction vector. Okay, and you given another point. Maybe the point you call it as a point P. So that is a point, let's say, for example, 1, 2, 3. Okay, and then maybe this one, the line as a, okay, let's say 3, 4, 5. Okay, plus T, okay, and this is a 1, 1, 1, for example. Okay, finding equation of plane, we already mentioned about that as a rotinan, isn't it? Rotinan, R dot N equal to A dot N. Okay, so the normal vector we can obtain by finding two vectors on plane. So what is the first vector here? The first vector here is the direction vector V1. The second vector, we can compute the vector from the given 2 points. So now did you notice that from the diagram, you have 2 points here, right? The position vector. So you can either choosing PA or AP. Okay, so for example, if you're choosing PA, so automatically it will be A 3, 4, 5 minus 1, 2, 3. Right? So you get that is a 2, 2, 2. So this will become your second vectors. Okay, therefore your normal vector, the perpendicular vector, is a cross product PA cross with the V1 as your normal vector. Okay, did you clear with it? In finding the perpendicular vector, you need two vectors on plane. So the normal vector is a vector from the 2 points on plane and the exiting direction vector from the straight line. Okay, and then after that, just apply the rotinan. That's it.
Okay, kita ada satu lagi soalan dari Iman Haikal. Kejap ya, saya tunjukkan. Okay, I always get confused about PAB, the denominator, PA or PB, and also when PAB.
I always get confused about the conditional event. Then okay, so so for conditional event, okay, so the behind one actually is the condition. So that one is the denominator. Okay, so let's see. Okay, share the screen. Okay, Shakir, share screen je.
Okay, saya sharekan.
Okay, so the formula is A intersect with B by PB. So this one is the denominator, the behind one is the denominator. Okay, so normally this word are going to come up with the given that. Okay, that one is the condition. So you will come in behind. What to find? What is the probability? So it's in front. So please make sure you don't have to make confused. If you do the reverse process, so you will calculate different thing. Okay, so you are going to get A here. So definitely the answer is different. So please make sure that when you read the questions carefully, you must say given that if that one all is the denominator. That one because it's the condition. So it says that it must happen B first, only the A will happen. Okay. Then apa lagi dia tanya? Oh, PB. Okay, and also apa? A give and okay, sama cerita lah. Okay, kalau A, B prime ini, so don't be confused. You just apply the formula first, divided by PB prime. Okay, to find this, you may use the Venn diagram. A, B, N. So A intersect with the B prime. So definitely this one you will get this. Okay, so to calculate this, so you may use your PA minus with the A intersect B. Just what I said, you may use your Venn diagram at PA subtract with the A because this part is the A intersect B. So we divide PB prime and then 1 minus PB. Okay, this one you should be correct first. So definitely this one is the denominators and this one is the numerators. Okay, clear?
Okay, dari kita ada satu lagi dari Kiruba Sangkari.
Okay.
Good morning, Miss. For chapter 10, is the sentence from A to B?
Yeah, from
inclusive?
A to B, AB inclusive. Kalau between, not inclusive. Unless it says between A to B inclusive. Okay, we have three kind of questions here. So kalau dia cakap from A to B, will be include A and B. Okay.
Okay. Satu lagi dari Wei Aun. Hi, madam. Is it necessary to draw a wave line for the unknown 4?
Huh? Wave line?
The vector component. Yeah, it will represent vector notation.
Yeah. It's better lah.
Cacing.
Because it's like this, if we didn't write the wave, so we will show that this is the unknown, bukan vectors. So actually the way of writing vector is bold, but we cannot hardly to when you're handwriting, we cannot hardly to make it bold. So it's better
we cannot computerize it. We cannot computerize it.
So be careful of writing the vectors.
Yep.
Okay. Daripada Atira Aznan, to find perpendicular, how to know either to use cross product or dot product?
Okay, so I already preparing something for you to take a look. Okay, so my dear, maybe I think we should understand, and not only we should understand about what does it mean by cross product, right? Okay, let's say this is the vector A. Okay, maybe I should take. Okay, the black one is a vector A. The red one is a vector B. Okay, so cross product actually A cross B, we call it is a vector which is perpendicular to both. Okay, A cross B macam senang cerita lah. Ini mak, ini ayah. Ini adalah anak dia. Kan? Hasil cross product menghasilkan ini. Kalau mak ayah kita kan, kita kena hormat mereka. So 90 degree. Okay. Cross product ada perpendicular distance to both based on the definition. Right? Okay. A cross B. then we know that in order to finding the perpendicular vector, we need to use a cross product of two vectors instead of dot product.
Okay, so normally we are going to, if you want to find a perpendicular vector, we are only to use cross product only. So you must remember only two vector with cross product only we're going to produce a vectors. So if we do the dot product, we are going to get a scalar. You won't get a vectors. So kita akan dapat nombor even perpendicular. Okay, so please take note of it. And we are going to use the dot product to do the test. Okay. Okay, so if the question is mentioned, two vectors are perpendiculars, so their dot product is 0. Okay, so if you want to find vector, I think the student is confusing. If you want to show that the vector is perpendicular, you may use dot product because the dot product equal to 0. If you want to find a vector, nak cari vector which is perpendicular, you have to do the cross product. Okay, clear? Dot product only for the test.
Okay.
Because if you do the dot cross 90 is 0, right?
Okay, actually the conclusion maybe Atira, maybe you should state clearly the perpendicular here is represent finding perpendicular vectors or showing two vectors are perpendicular. Maybe you should declare what is your question. Okay, if showing two vectors are perpendicular, we're using dot product. If finding perpendicular vector, we're using cross product. Okay, so you have to state clearly your question.
Okay, kita ada satu dari SSY Yasmin. Madam, I want to ask again for normal distributions, for example, Px more than K equal to 0.85. Sometimes I'm confused when to change more than or less than or at negative sign.
Okay, you share the screen, please?
Share the screen, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
This one.
Okay, greater than K is it. So this one, the student mentions that this is the normal. Actually, it's a normal distribution with the mu and the variance. So I consider this is the normal distributions. Okay, it's very confusing. So don't need to confuse. You just read the signs here. Okay, so we know that at one bell, so we have total is 1, right? Okay, greater than K. So kalau sign still greater, definitely your K is here. Because this is 0.5 kan? So the total here is 0.85. So that means that actually the K is the value of negative. Dia adalah value of negative. Okay, so I have to convert. Yang ni jadi this way round. The K, so I have to put a negative sign here. Okay, so maksudnya bila saya nak read from the table, I don't have the negative value in the table. So I have to form a formula that Z is greater than K equal to 0.85. Okay, since kalau you nak letak equal signs, you have to remember for continuous, just now I mentioned that the equal sign here is not any effect, doesn't have any effect. Okay, kalau dia discrete, dia ada effect. Okay, you letak besar pun tak apalah, doesn't matter actually. Okay, so greater than, okay, this one,
Less
you
than,
kena letak
less than.
negatif lah. Sebab saya nak buang ini. Saya read from the table. I will read from the table. This is the normal bell, so I have to use 1 minus this side. So I have to get the same region. So I will have x is greater than negative K equal to 0.15. So you read from your binomial page 24 atau page 21. Normally we go to the page 24 first. We double check whether you have this value. Okay, this one baru kita buat kita punya standardize lah. K negative kan. So you punya K minus the mean divided by the standard deviation. Okay, baru kita baca the value Okay, so daripada sini pindah ke sini, so kita kena multiply negative because sebagai contoh. Okay, so let's say this is the minus 2. So this region. So I want to read, I cannot read minus 2. So saya kena baca yang inilah. So saya macam mana saya nak positifkan? So I kena darab a negative. Boleh? I kena darab a negative. So if I change the, so normally you just roughly sketch the region first. So from here you left hand side you shift to right hand side. So you akan buat yang positif lah. Okay, before you read, so you must standardize first lah. Of course lah, kena standardize baru you baca lah. Okay, boleh?
Okay.
Okay.
Kita ada satu lagi daripada Nur Ain Sarah. Madam, can you show an example for conversion from PDF to CDF for continuous random variable?
This is a long process, eh?
Okay.
Okay. Cannot simply take function, eh? We must take the PDF. Cannot random function that can take.
Okay, let me okay. For example, okay. I show you the process. Shakir, can you please share the screen?
Okay.
Okay, continuous. Okay, for example, you have the density function. Okay, 0, 2 minus x and 0. Hopefully dia ada satu lah sebab kita tak boleh sebarang ambil. Nanti dia tak jadi satu. Okay, let's say this. Okay, easy. First step, I teach my student, you come out with the number line first. You copy down all the functions given. Okay, so you, sorry, kejap, salah. Wait you write the numbers, number line, 0, 1, 2. Okay, you write down the interval first. Okay, is the givens, right? Okay, you add on the verb. Okay, the add on one should be opposite from this. Kalau dia s greater or equal than 0, okay, this one will be s less than 0, and this one will be s greater or equal than 2. Okay, this no function, the function is 0, this function is x, this is the 2 minus x, and this is 0, no function. Okay, so I always ask my student, you copy down the interval first. The first one, there is no function, so your cumulative equal to 0, no function. You don't need to integrate 0. Okay, so the second function, okay, highlight. I ask my student, you use a highlight pen, you highlight this. So you akan guna F0 ke atas plus 0 to x. From 0 to x. So the function given is x dx. Okay, so F0 is 0. So we take on above. Okay, plus lagi, ini 0 to x. So this one you integrate. Kejap alamak. You integrate, so x squared over 2, so x0, so that's why you akan dapat x squared over 2 minus 0, so you get x squared over 2. This is for the interval, cumulative for the interval 0 to 1. Okay, the third one, so this one we done, then we do this, 1, 2, so your fx, so again, class, you highlight this first. So you highlight this. So you go to the f1 plus 1 to x. Okay, f1 plus 1 to x. So the other function will be 2 minus x. Okay, dx. So you punya f1 ini adalah 1 over 2. 1 square over 2. Plus lagi you integrate 2x minus s square over 2. So 1x. So you have the 1 over 2 plus 2x minus s square over 2. Okay, minus lagi. So minus ini adalah 2 minus 1 over 2. Okay. So you akan dapat berapa? 2x minus x
square
square over 2 plus 1 betul? Negative plus 1.
1/2 minus 3/2.
Sorry? Yang ini
1/2.
1 so minus 1 lah. Minus 1 Okay, so the last one is the greater than 2. Hopefully dapat 1 So yang ini, okay, so the last one is this right? So kita ganti minus 1. So kita 4 minus 2 minus 1. So you get 1. Okay, so you mesti dapat sekali mesti dapat 1 lah. Okay, then you copy back your cumulative. So you just put everything. So you must start from 0, s less than 0. Copy ini. And the second one, s square over 2 is 0, s minus 1. Okay, so this one is 2x s square over 2 minus 1. So the interval will be this. And finally is 1, x should be greater or equal than 2. So kalau finally you tak dapat 1, that means that you have made mistake somewhere. Any part sat, so we have to check again. Okay, boleh clear? Okay, guna cara ini, lukiskan interval dia, you add on 0, 0. And you highlight as me, macam saya highlight 0, 1, 1, macam tu. Okay, boleh hello miss.
Okay. Kita ada lagi daripada Familia, anak gerasi. Question asked to find vertices. Yeah.
Question asked to find vertices for chi so on, but question didn't ask to sketch an ellipse. Okay, if I want to use sketch as my step, is it okay? As we know,
No
Ken,
problem.
as long no problem. No problem for that.
Okay, kita ada soalan terakhir ya daripada Mira. The last question. Okay.
Conversion from
Hello
CDF.
Miss, can you explain the conversion from CDF to PDF for discrete random variable also?
Conversion discrete pula. Tolak lah.
I think later I post something like the comparison of continuous and discrete, how to convert from CDF back to PDF into the Telegram group. Maybe it's more clear. Okay, you are more clear because the step is quite long. You might get confused if both you learn it together. Or maybe Madam Lim, you have the example.
Yeah.
If you have example, can show because this function cannot simply take one. Okay, must use a proper.
I think I just now I show the examples.
Right.
Okay, like you see the screen.
Okay, I have that.
Kalau bagi cumulative, you just tolak lah.
Minus only.
Minus only. So katakan ini adalah x, ini adalah x equal to x, right? So dia ada 1, 2 and 3. Tolak aje lah, dek. 1/3 tolak 0. Subtract.
Yep.
Ini
does not involve any x.
2/3
dia tak
minus
melibatkan
dia 1/3. So 1 minus, so tolak aja 1 minus 2/3. You get 1/3. So you get 1. Kalau discrete sangat senang. Tolak aja. Kalau continuous differentiate. Okay, clear?
Okay.
Seems like many question from student. It's good. You are on track actually. And those questions that they ask is also the common mistake as well. Very good.
Okay, good.
Okay, so itu saja soalan yang kita ada setakat ini. So kalau student ada lagi soalan nak kemukakan pada kita punya penceramah kita punya pensyarah kita, boleh masukkan dekat kita punya Telegram group. Okay, kita ada Telegram group kita, so boleh ajukan soalan di situlah. Kita akan cuba menjawab di situ sebanyak mungkin lah soalan yang ada. InsyaAllah kita akan cuba. Okay, kita juga ada postkan dekat ruangan komen kita punya borang soal selidik lah. Minta mohon jasa baik semua pelajar boleh isikan kita punya borang soal selidik berkenaan program slot kita hari ini. Okay, jangan lupa yang belum join pun boleh share dengan kawan-kawan link kita untuk nak join Telegram. Kita akan cuba menjawab dan kita harap sesi kita hari ini pada hari ini pagi ini sangat-sangat membantu pada persediaan terakhir pelajar. Okay, diharapkan pelajar terasa lah untuk nak berusaha lagi sebab masih ada beberapa hari lagi sebelum kita punya exam.
3 hari ya?
3 hari.
Boleh lagi.
Saya ada
Madeline,
bagi satu set soalan PSPM dalam Telegram group kan. So saya akan postkan solution dia dekat Wakale punya, so you can take a look and refer the working set and also the answer scheme. So as a final battle for you lah. Okay.
Madeline
Okay.
ada nak cakap apa-apa?
Okay, tak ada lah. So I harap wish you good luck. You just try your best. Okay, I know that your efforts will bring you a good success after this. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Terima kasih.